bit of yacht rock for you. Welcome to the channel, Vinyl Junkie in the Digital Age.
Everybody else would surely know there's watching her go. But who believes? Do you see the wise man has the power to reason away what we see?
Yes, indeed. What a Fool Believes, the Doobie Brothers. And welcome, Vinyl Junkies in the Digital Age. Welcome, rockers, rollers, music appreciatives everywhere. Thanks for viewing my channel. I hope you're going to subscribe too and get notifications when we got new stuff coming out. We try to get something brand new every Friday, and I've got some. I've got a little video on here telling you what's coming up. I've also got a few extra things to throw into the mix, but we'll come across those perhaps a bit later in the year. Brand new album from Baxter Jury is just out, and I've always hesitated to take the plunge with Baxter Jury, but I have now. The first thing I want to say today, this is about the Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes that was, and they were often castigated for being safe. Soft rock, or as you saw from the cover of the CD I was flaunting a moment ago, yacht rock. Well, we've got a video on here all about yacht rock. We've tried to define what we think it is, whether we think it's a derogatory term or actually quite a good thing to be. And I think in the case of the Doobie Brothers, there's very little argument. Most of you know, like me, the Doobie Brothers staple hits that you hear on the radio every now and again. What a Fool Believes, China Grove, Long Train Running, and the list goes on. Listen to the music. There's loads of Doobies been on the airwaves ever since they formed in 1970. It's hard to believe that they haven't been around longer for me, because I'm kind of in my late 60s now, and I can't remember a time where I didn't hear them on the radio every now and again. In the 70s and 80s they were probably more frequently on the radio, particularly during that yacht rock phase that we were talking about in our other video. And today we look at a brand new album from the Doobies. It's only been out 3 months, and I don't know why, but I've never delved into Doobies albums before. My good friend Hendy has, and I asked him to listen to this new album and tell me what he thought, because he's a kind of Doobies veteran. And among his other thoughts there were, well, it sounds like bits of the past Doobies are in there, along with other ideas and other influences from all over the place. The Doobies draw in from all over the place. They're not swamp rock, they're not yacht rock, they're not blue-eyed soul, they're all of them. And they're not always mangled into the same song like so many artists seem to be doing these days, fusions as we call them. The Doobies, as we're going to find out on their new album, actually have very separate genres channeled into each and every song. So you'll have one song that's a comfort ballad, you'll have another one that's got an Hawaiian feel, you'll have another one that's got a blue-eyed soul feel, and so on, as we're going to find out. Now their new album, as I say, came out 3 months ago, so I checked it all out. I'd never checked out a Doobies album before, you see, and I started getting drawn into it more and more and more. My wife fell in love with an Hawaiian track on it, which we will come to, because in her younger days she did travel to Hawaii to see a relative who lived out there at the time, and made it an excuse to have a really great holiday. And she fell in love with the place. She thought it was great, but she has an insight into some of the problems they have out there, as well as all the good things that the tourists see and so on. So I ordered the album. I thought, yeah, I think we're going to like this at home here in Skelly land. We're going to love it. So I ordered it on the vinyl. Got a sealed copy, unwrapped it, put it on, skip. It was warped to the point where you could see the needle going up and down like this. It was bouncing, and I was tempted to do an old disco trick of mine and put some weight on the cartridge, and I thought, no, that's a brand new album. We've paid, I think it was 35 quid for this album, which in the big scheme of things isn't a huge amount of money, and in fact it's only about, as we were saying on one of our other videos, it's only about 10% of weekly average income for most people. So it represents pretty much the same price you'd have paid for an album way back in the 80s. But for 35 quid, I don't expect it to leap about like an Olympian on a blooming, trampoline. Sorry, that's not good enough. So I returned it, got another copy. And that wasn't as warped, but it was still warped. It was more of a woo, and the music didn't play right. I didn't notice on the first track because of the slide guitar, and sometimes these artists, they want it to sound a bit ooh anyway, a bit distorted. But no, when we got to the slower, slushier stuff, it was like, oh no, this is way off. So I returned that. Went to my favourite retailer in St Albans City, see my mate Eddie James, and I said, I think on this one I've got to get the CD. So that's what we did. We got the CD, and there it is. We are reviewing then Walk This Road, which is the brand new Doobie Brothers album, and it has a number of interesting traits that we'll come to shortly. So there's some Doobie Brothers there. They're featured in Classic Rock. I'll tell you the issue in a little while. Now the Doobies, from what I've heard of them, and this album in particular, are great for attending to infinite detail. Nothing is amiss on a Doobies track, it seems. This album was released in June 2025, so that's nearly 3 months ago. It's their 16th studio album. It's out on the RHINO Records label, but I'm going to be very nasty and say, RHINO, you need to get your act together. Your records are coming out warped. Now, I don't know if it's you when you pack them, but they are sealed when we get them. And I don't know if it's your distributors storing them in the Arctic Circle. Whatever it is, fix it. We are not paying £35 to £40 for shoddy product. Got the message? Good. Recorded this album that we're talking about at Multiview Studio in Los Angeles, but as with more and more albums these days, it seems, lots of recording studios get used, particularly with the Doobies. They've used Lizard Rock at Santa Ynez Valley, CA. They've Lost Boys Sound Studio, Chicago, Illinois. Studio D, Sausalito at CA. Island Sound in Honolulu. Upina Production Network in Honolulu. So they go all over the place to record these records. And then production and engineering. I mean, how many people do you need? John Shanks, Chris Lord, Bradley Guru, Caleb Allen, John McPhee, he's one of the Doobies, Lynn Peterson, Matt Lejeune, Kyle Spicer and Michael Grant. And half of them you've never heard of, have you? I've heard of none of them, other than John McPhee, who's a member of the Doobies. So when you think there's the small returns that artists get now from hard copy like CDs and vinyl, and not a great deal from downloads and streaming either, the Fresh Air gang. So when you think of the small returns, there's more money made from the merchandise, the tickets on the road. You think, well, how do you justify paying all these studios and all these people to help you produce one album with about 10 tracks on it? It doesn't bear thinking about. Anyway, you're going to say, why aren't you playing a little bit of the album? Because that's my USP. I don't care who tries to charge me money. I am playing bits of the music I'm talking about because it authenticates what I'm saying. That's part of the reason. This album unites Tom Johnston on vocals and guitars, Michael McDonald on vocals and a whole variety of keyboards, by the way. Patrick Simmons does some vocals. He's also handles guitars and a thing called a dobro. John McPhee, however, is a multi-instrumentalist, handling violin, mandolin, resonator guitar, harmonica, among other bits and bobs, no doubt. So this is a very talented band with a lot going for them. They've been going, as I said, since 1970. And this record comes out where they're in their autumn years, as am I. So it's very appropriate in that sense. Now, We'll start with track 1, which is Walk This Road. We'll have a little bit and then talk.
Walk this road with me. We'll see just where it goes. We'll always work together. It'll always take us home. What will be. The path will lead us on. Well, we don't have much, but love is all we need. Walk this road with me. Walk this road with me. Now we all want the same thing. It's high time we realize. Until we come together, we're never gonna see.
Okay, Walk This Road, the opener. Percussion ushers in. Some swampy slide guitar and some horns. And automatically, straight away, I think, a tinge of Little Feet there. Then it starts to rock into Michael McDonald's vocal, and I'm in China Grove.
We stand ourselves, and that's when we're burning be free. Walk this road with me. You gotta walk this road with me. Walk this road with me.
Michael McDonald's dulcet tones are immediately familiar from the old Doobie sound. Now, he hasn't recorded with the rest of the band since the 80s. They're a kind of come and go kind of band in that way. Tom Johnson has joined us on the second verse, and in a minute, Patrick Simmons comes in. And the whole song, I think, is a gospel-tinged rocker. Listen to the guitar.
You may be weary, you may feel strong. We all need someone sometime to help us walk on.
Oh my word, it sounds like your favourite uncle, doesn't it? That's Patrick Simmons coming in on the vocal. We got Mavis Staples, I should say, in the back on the backing vocals. And this was actually released as a single from the album in January this year. So it preceded the release of the actual album. I think immediately I feel a sense of warmth, a sense of comfort, a kind of, I've not been here before, but it feels very comfortable and familiar. And my mate Hendy put it a different way. He has a different slant on everything, which is why I always indulge him and listen to him. He said they're playing safe on this album, and he felt some of the lush sort of ballads were a little bit pedestrian. It depends how you're listening, where you're coming from and how you feel. Now, Hendy has the benefit of having quite a few of the previous Doobie's albums, including The Captain and Me. So he's got a whole different angle, whereas I'm coming from really very little knowledge other than the stuff you hear on the radio, all the singles. Track 2 is called Angels and Mercy, not Angels of Mercy, Angels and Mercy, and I found this fascinating as well. Another great track for me. Lush guitars, did you hear that harmonica there? Another classic Doobie sound, but so different from the first track we played. And yet we're still rocking. This is a rocking album as well as having its quieter moments. I've called this a galloping rocker because it kind of gallops along, doesn't it? It's like being on a horse. And it's Patrick Simmons behind this song. He's singing about a runaway escapee who's reaching the end of his tether. He's had enough. He's ready to give up. It was a single from this album back in May 2025. Now we've got a strum-along rocker. Have a listen to this one.
See you, I'm
Johnson on the vocals, another warm and rich Doobies kind of sound. Call Me, a strong along rocker with some really fat horns. Did you hear those horns popping away there? It's got an anthemic chorus, Call Me, and it's all about long distance love, basically, something which my son Daniel knows all about because he, living in this country in the United Kingdom, liaised with a lady out in Detroit, or no, Michigan to be more precise, Grand Rapids, near there. And they were long distance love for a long time. Now they're together, they've been together a good few years. But long distance love, you know, on the phone, on the internet web and all that stuff. Call Me was a single in January 2025. And again, it's rocking along beautifully. It makes me feel even more warm and wonderful than the first two cuts, probably because it's added to the sound of the album. And at this point in the album, we were doing a listening party where you wander about, you get a drink, you know, you check your phone, but you've got the record on and you're checking it out. And my wife was going, this is good, isn't it? So there we are. Straight away it was hitting her, and that was the first time she'd heard it. Normally my wife has to hear things a few times before she decides what she thinks. Learn to Let Go is the next track on the album. I'm going through every single track here. How blessed are you, eh? Listen to the intro. This is lovely.
When you look back on love and how you came to an end, you think you'll never want anything that much again. So good, it's hard to see the writing on the wall. Flying high on love only makes for a longer fall. But you gotta keep on trying till the memory sets you free. When you lose that love, this world may keep on turning, but it's just gonna keep on hurting. You learn to let go, baby. When you find what you're looking for, let go, baby. You can't hide it. Use your head till your heart can fall.
I don't know about you, but you just fall in love with Michael McDonald's voice every time you hear it. It's just fantastic. He's the grandest Doobie brother of them all, I think, in some ways. This is a lovely Michael McDonald inspired ballad, by the way. He wrote this one. It's a comfort ballad, as we're calling these comfort ballads, because they make you feel good. It's laced with lush harmonies, as you heard, some very mellow guitar lines in that, strumming away. There's a nice rich organ sound, and that comes from a Hammond B3, for those of you that know about these things. Eddie James does. He's big on organs and Hammonds and that. It's about... The lyric is about hard lessons learnt in life. You know, learn to let go. It's hard, it hurts, it's not easy. These are guys that have been around a long time and have experienced all these things. You know, when you talk to your elders and betters, questionable, they can't often add new ideas because they're not young and on the cutting edge of things, but they often have experience. And some things in life just do not change. You look at the youngsters today with their mental health problems. You look at the people, the rockers of the 70s with their drug habits. Very little's changed. You know, people go through stuff, nasty stuff. Okay, track 5 on the album. Get some Doobies, they'll make you feel better. It's like listening to your dad. Here's State of Grace.
So many times, don't know how I could have missed so many signs of who I thought I was and who I'm supposed to be. I've wasted all my life living on memories. They say a question has an answer, but every dream can lead you home. And now I know it's only love you can't replace. Help me find my way, lead me to a state of grace.
Wow. I've only actually played the whole album, I will kid you not, 3 times. I've dipped in and out of it a few times, I'll admit that. I've been on the old YouTube to check out the singles. But do you know, every time I listen to it, I feel like I've been here before. I've had this record forever. That's how it feels. For me personally, perhaps it's age related. I am 66 years of age. Maybe it's something to do with just how great the Doobies are. It's probably a bit of all of it. But I feel so good with these guys talking to me and singing to me. And all the advice they're giving and all the experiences they're sharing, you think, yeah, man, you're right. And this just that kind of record. And I suspect most of their records are like that, by the way. The lyric is about waking up and smelling the coffee. It's about reconciliation as well. So it's very much a message for the modern day in a way. The youngsters do need to wake up and smell the coffee, and I don't think the lockdowns and the political scenarios going on and the wars going on around the world are helping matters. It's giving them a lot of stress, and believe me, young people are stressed, perhaps more than I ever was as a youngster. The lead vocal is by Patrick Simmons, again, your favourite uncle almost. This is a smooth as silk country ballad, and I love the way it just washes over me, as well as pulling me in and making me feel part of the whole scene. It's got gorgeous cello, it's got mandolin, pedal steel guitar, banjo and acoustic guitars, all giving it that lush, smooth as silk country kind of sound. And I've kind of dubbed it Deep Doobie Bliss. I don't think I've ever felt more blissed out than I do listening to State of Grace. It's a wonderful song, and the lyrics are superb too. So while we're having a pause from the music for a moment, let's have a look at the artwork. Isn't that inviting and superb? Walk this road. I'd walk that road with the Doobie Brothers. I know I would. Absolutely fantastic. And as I said, there's the Doobies. There's some more of them in the middle in there, and I took the trouble to remove the outer sticker that they put on the cellophane that most of us throw away, because I love it, because it reminds us that it unites Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Patrick Simmons and John McPhee for the first time. It's not for the first time, it's the first time since the 80s. They also had a brief pause in the 80s of about 5 years, and that does sound brief now, doesn't it, looking back. Anyway, there's another road on the Doobies artwork. Lovely artwork. Lots of attention to detail with the music and with the way they present the record. I mean, this is only the CD, and this feels really lush. And when I had the album on vinyl in my hands, trust me, that felt even more lush. We will eventually get it on the vinyl, and we'll give it another review perhaps. Depends how you feel, I guess. All the lyrics are in here. They write very good lyrics. Doesn't matter who's writing. The lyrics are just superb. There's some more portraits of the Doobies there. And I just love this album. It's 10 tracks, and I'm finding it hard to find fault with any of them, to be honest with you. In the magazine Classic Rock, let's tell you what issue that is. I did say I'd do that, didn't I? There's a fabulous picture of the entire band, looking rather cool. It's issue number 341 of Classic Rock, and if you see it lying about, it'll have that on the front. That heavy metal band whose singer died not long ago, Ozzy Osbourne, bless him. Rest in peace, Ozzy, mate. I wasn't a big fan, but I did appreciate what he did. So, Long Train Still Running, the article says, with vocalist Michael McDonald on board again, and a new album more than 50 years down the tracks, the Doobie Brothers have still got what it takes, Classic Rock think. They tell us just to sit back, listen to the music, and it's very much a listen to the music album. And the Doobies, here we have a bit of their backstory, how they got started in rock and roll, and what lovely, kind looking old gentlemen they all are, and yet They would have been living the rock and roll dream back in the day, don't get me wrong. They did it all too, and they've lived to tell the tale. Tom Johnson says, I don't try to be a messenger, although you are, Tom. Trust me, you all are. My goal is to write good songs. He certainly achieved that. Michael McDonald, being in this band is like no other experience I've had in music. And of course, he's gone off and done lots of other things himself. There's something very comfortable about it for me. And I think that's a good metaphor for this band. It really makes you feel comfortable. It's an amazing album, for me personally. But perhaps if you're Hendy and you've got 6 other Doobies albums, maybe you're not surprised. Music is a healing force. That's a fact. That is an absolute undeniable fact. Every day I meet someone at a gig who says, you got me through a hard time. That is just fantastic news. But there we are. The Doobie Brothers, absolutely amazing band. Having been a long train running for so long. Now in a minute we're going to look at the review of the album in classic rock. And the headline, the bullet point is, whoa, whoa! They've brought the big guns back into the band. And by that they mean Michael McDonald. Of course, his deepish, dulcet voice doesn't seem to change very much. We go to track 6 now, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. So let's see how that goes. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm riding wild horses.
Whoa, yeah.
Grab the reins and fly away. Lost in rock and roll heaven. And you know that it's here to stay.
Whoa, Riding Wild Horses. This is a rollicking soft rocker. It gallops like the other one did, along with a wonderful Simmons and McDonald, backed by Tom Johnson on the lead vocal. Riding Wild Horses is a metaphor for the rock and roll lifestyle, and this song is to emphasise the fact they've endured and survived all of that themselves. And as a testimony to that also, the next track is called The Kind That Lasts. And the Doobies certainly have lasted. I mean, this is inspirational stuff. Here's The Kind That Lasts. Have a listen to this. The song talks about a lot of things that I come across in my Christian journey as a Bible-believing Christian, and it's a kind of blue-eyed soul kind of vibe to this one. It's also got a swampy sort of Little Feat style as well, with slide guitars and keyboards, funking up the Michael McDonald rocker. And when I say it's got this Christian element to it, I don't know these guys' faiths, but I suspect they're all Christians. But it's about believing in and learning to love yourself first. And this is what God teaches us. If you can't love yourself, you certainly cannot love anyone else with any deep meaning or lasting endurance. It's not about looking for life's meaning in other people. So often we put our faith in people, don't we? You know, people in a church, people in a school, committees, elders, governments, politicians, our MP. We put our faith in people. You can't put your faith in people because we're people and we're so fickle and we're so weak and we all do things wrong and we all make mistakes. And back in my day when I was learning to love and to live and to work and I was learning about music and taking it all in, one of the lessons I learned was it doesn't matter what you do wrong. Well, providing it's not fatal or devastating to that extent. But simply put, it doesn't matter what you do wrong in life as long as you put it right. That's what's going to define you, how you go about putting it right. And so many people don't have the backbone to face up to, oh, I goofed there, I am awfully sorry, this is what I'm going to do to fix it. And this song kind of reminds me of that in a way. Maybe I'm reading too much into the lyric, but I don't know. But it's, as I say, it's about looking for enduring values rather than superficial ones. So he's singing about somebody fancying a guy because he's hot and he's there and he's exciting. But he'll be a flash in the pan, he'll be gone. It's not enduring, it's not the kind that lasts. So I find this track a life-affirming track. And I think it imparts some very, very shrewd advice that Michael McDonald is giving us there. Next track up, number 8, means a lot to the Doobies. It really does. Great track, listen to this. You can just feel a party spirit coming off of this, a real vibe on this. New Orleans, it's a fantastic ode to the Doobie Brothers' own favourite city, New Orleans, where they love the food, they love the culture, the music, everything about New Orleans they love. The lead vocal is from good old Uncle Tom Johnston, backed by Charlotte Gibson. She's adding a bit of soul to this track. And it's a guitar-led rolling rocker for the road. And I find it absolutely sublime, this one. Absolutely sublime. Listen, full of Doobie's harmonies too. Fantastic. That guitar, man, that's throwing me. Oh, that is, oh yeah, man. Oh, that is another thing I love about this record. The attention to detail that we talked about earlier is coming through more and more on every track. Are you finding that out there? I'm playing you more than I normally play on any of my videos. That's how brilliant I think this album is. I think it deserves to be played and played and played to death. Next up is Speed of Pain, which is interesting, because this again awakes some ethics of mine.
My friend Manny would always say, I only learned anything at the speed of pain. How looking back, he had no regrets. No doubt there's still some hard lessons, but what I think he meant, not to know is lost. Is there something to be gained from the lessons learned at the speed of pain?
Those lush guitar strums and those little organ inserts, be it bit in the background there gives this song yet another layer in the Doobies canon. It's called Speed of Pain, and again, to me, am I reading too much into the lyric? I'm not sure. Check it for yourselves. It comes across with a kind of Christian ethic to me that teaches us that sometimes to gain anything, is he talking about God's love? Who knows? You have to lose everything. Now, we've seen this with people that come to the end of their tether. A song previously referenced somebody coming to the end of their tether, didn't it? And you come to the end of the tether, and people often say, particularly with addictions, you've got to kind of lose absolutely everything, come to rock bottom before you'll decide you're the one asking for the help instead of everybody else telling you you need it. So Speed of Pain is possibly about how long it takes for that realisation to come about. I've hit rock bottom, I am hopeless, I've got nothing, I need help. And that's when often people turn to God and they turn to prayer. They do it in desperation. And then they think they're a bit phony for doing that. But that's precisely the opposite, I can tell you. Right, so a stabbing church organ kind of sound kicks off this lush and melodic Michael McDonald power lament. Power lament. Oh. The finishing track I'll deal with when we've done our summing up. Andrew Henderson, my mate Hendy, he played this while he was decorating the room, and what he did was he juxtaposed the tracks on the album with some of the earlier tracks. So he had a kind of playlist where China Grove came on, and then listened to the music, and then What a Fool Believes, and these tracks were in between. And he felt very much that they were playing safe by sticking to what they know and what they're good at, and he felt the ballads let the album down slightly in his eyes. So I guess it depends what kind of doobies you want. I'm hearing the doobies, from what I've heard on this album, they seem to be covering everything they do. So they do blue-eyed soul, they do swampy stuff, they do a lot of slide guitar, they do a lot of stuff with horns on, they do blue-eyed soul, they do country-tinged work. They seem capable of almost anything they want to do, and yet they comfortably, and that is a big word in this review, comfort. This whole thing smacks of comfort to me. They comfortably fit into that yacht rock genre that we talked about on another video on my channel. So check that one out, the yacht rock one. I think you'll like it. So my conclusion, started with our listening party, by the way. As soon as the music started in our listening party, all of us felt right at home. We sort of thought, oh, this is good. I feel at home here, you know, on the leather couch or whatever. And we all had a kind of warm feeling from the record. And it was a warmth of affection. Aren't they great? Aren't they lovely? Isn't it great they're still around? It was that kind of feeling. And that lasted from the first track to the 10th track, which we're going to come to shortly. As you could hear, and as I've tried to explain in my own imitable way, the music is arranged with everything in the right place. It feels like you've walked into somewhere where everything's where it should be. It's written, the songs that is, are written with knowing and wisdom. These guys haven't kind of wasted their lives in rock and roll. They've learnt from everything they've done. And they're here to tell us about it and share with us everything they sing about, and the sound, particularly on the lead, when they take the lead vocals, they all sound like they've been born of lives very well lived. Not always everything working properly, not everything happening as they would like, but they've lived life, you know, really lived life. And people like that, just, well, I love them. I love people like that. The whole album, for me, again, envelops the listener with an uplifting and life-affirming set of well-crafted songs. They're not just written. These songs are crafted. They're almost chiselled and carved very lovingly from something. That's how they come across to me. And it's not a roller coaster of thrills and spills, this album. It's a nice constant groove which slows down now and again for a comfort ballad, speeds up again for a country rocker or a blue-eyed soul piece, but it keeps you with it. You're with it all the way. You don't lose track, you don't kind of feel left behind at any point on the album, and you don't feel like, oh my goodness, when's this track going to finish? That's a wonderful album, I think. When an album has what I call no spare. There's no filler tracks on here. This is a well thought out record. My wife, Marie, felt that we need, even though we've got the CD and it sounds great, as you can hear, she still feels we need the vinyl. And Marie only really says that when she really is crazy about an album. So I think that sums it all up rather well. Hendy has mixed feelings, but he's a veteran Doobies fan. And the rest of us felt totally in love with the record. The last track means a lot to my darling wife, so we shall finish with that because it is a really good track. It's track 10 on the album. It's called La Reina, and it was a single back in 2023, this one. Hang on, I'm losing the plot here. What comes after 9? 10, of course it does. You stupid boy. Right, I'll tell you a bit about that track in a moment. Let's get it going.
Beautiful dream, I'm trying to remember. Underneath the banyan tree, our love will live forever. Spirits everywhere, whisper in the wind. Waves that kiss the shore at night are calling us again. It calls to me, La Reina. Carry me back home. It's calling me, La Reina. Carry me home.
I'm looking for the pause. Right, La Reina. Oh my gosh. Released as a single back in November 2023. This was the track inspired by events, wildfires as it goes, in La Reina, which is part of Hawaii. And my wife went there many moons ago, and she toured all around the Hawaiian Islands. So she saw a bit of everything, including La Reina. So some of the comments I'm going to make are kind of how she feels as well. And by the way, when you get the album, it won't be if, you will get it. I know you will. Yes, by all means get the CD. As you can hear it, it sounds bloody good. But try and get a flat, playable vinyl copy as well. I'm going to still look for one because that's how good this album is, okay? So La Reina, okay, a truly atmospheric comfort ballad, and we all felt the same in that respect. Even Hendy said, yeah, they're playing safe, it's comfortable. What's wrong with that? You know, you get your favourite old pair of slippers or Crocs or whatever you wear around the house. There's nothing nicer, is there? Get home after a hard day or a long walk and you put them on. What's wrong with comfort? So a truly atmospheric comfort ballad, but it has some nice surprises. We've got Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac handling the drums for this track. Jake Shimabukuro is an Hawaiian ukulele player of some renown, and Henry Copono joins with Michael McDonald and Tom Johnson on the backing vocals. So again, it's got a fantastic doobie lushness to the vocal side of things because of these harmonies. It's an ode to the Hawaiian town of La Reina, scene of wildfires in 2023, and this united the Doobie Brothers to help raise aid and funding for the victims. So, the Doobies, the Doobie Brothers. Not only are they a fantastic band, but I honestly think this is a fantastic album. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I don't want anybody watching this video or subscribing to this channel, I don't want anybody going without. This is a wonderful album. For some of you, it'll be one you play the music from when you're driving. Maybe an hour-long trip and you fill it with Doobie Brothers. Wow. For some of you, it's an evening listen. I love albums where you can enjoy the whole lot and not feel left behind or get bored. I love albums where you can pick one track out and it's awesome. This is that album. It's got everything you could ever want. It's a luxury album, it's a comfort album, but it's also very good. Very well played, very well written, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for watching. Thanks if you subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this review, and please get this album. The Doobies deserve it, and so do you.
Deep roots of the banyan tree growing in the sand are strong like the people of the island. These living waters
And if you're on YouTube and you put in the Doobie Brothers, Lahaina, Lahaina, you'll see a very lovely video of Hawaii. Isn't it? Mandolins, just so special. Thanks for watching. Keep on rocking.